As previously shown, I did pine cone with green and gold, and today I'm going to turn said blank on my jet mini lathe. Alright, I have the blank mounted on my lathe, but on bushings, and I'm turning a junior gentleman style pen, and we'll see how it comes out. And there you go. That's what happens when you get too close to the end with a pine cone and the end breaks off. Now what do? You're screwed, right? No, you're not. What I'm going to do now is I've got a thin parting tool, and I'm going to take and carefully, whoops, I got to go back a little farther. Alright, now, there's two options here that a guy could do. And anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this off of my mandrel, take these off. I've still got my cutoff from the end that I saved for just said emergency. So I'm going to drill this. Alright, what I did was I drilled a hole in the end of my piece, and now I'm gonna, and then we're gonna take this, I'm gonna go over to my bandsaw. Take my new piece. CA glue, glued my repair onto the back of this piece, and we're going to remount it on the lathe. Bring up my mandrel saver right about there. Lock that. Bring this in. There we go. And tighten that up. That looks good. Take my roughing gouge and very gently I'm just taking off a little bit at a time here. And now I want to blend that in. But it's not stabilized. So I have to be very gentle. I just want to take off a little bit at a time. Now bring in my skew chisel and lightly bring this down to the bushing. Okay, now I want to shape the piece. I don't want this pen all the way down thin like the bushing is. I want to leave a little bit of meat on it. I want it thicker. And there we go again. Just broke that off. Now I don't have anything left to repair this with. So I gotta try and find the piece that broke off. And there it is. So I got lucky today. It's just a chip out. I'm going to take some thin CA. Whoops. First I'm going to spritz it with some accelerator. I keep T-pins that sewers use for laying out patterns handy by my lathe all the time. Take a drop of glue. Put a little accelerator, and then add a couple of drops of CA. Take the parting or skew chisel again. And I'm just barely touching this because I don't want to break that chip out again. closer. And right there where I did that repair, you cannot, well, you can see it if you look really close and you know what you're looking for. And then where I repaired this right here, you can barely see it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sand this down with 220 grit sandpaper. Good grief. Can't talk right. Slow my speed down a little more, about 2,000 RPM. Sand the blank into the bushing so the shape is right. Now there, that line shows up where that repair was made. But I'll show you how we take care of that in a second here. Alright. 220 grit sandpaper. I didn't need to start any rougher than that. Now we'll stop it, sand end to end to remove any of the scratches that are running circular. Now if you look, there's sanding marks or sanding dust in that repair. So, how do you fix it? How do you get rid of that? Pretty simple. You can blow it out with air, but it's so cold I don't have a hose coming into my shop today, and my compressor's outside. So, take that, and then take denatured alcohol and rub. Rub, back and forth. And then I've got a toothing brush with the toothbrush. That line has all but disappeared. So now we're going to take CA glue, and at about 1,000 RPM, I'm just going to build up coats of CA. And this is thin. Accelerator, and then take a small drop of medium, wipe across, you don't want to spend too much time in one spot when you're wiping, or your paper towel gets stuck to your pen. And you gotta turn it or sand it, try and get rid of that. Like that. Now, here's the tricky, sneaky tip part. Now I'm going to take 800 grit sand, or micro mesh, and just a very, 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 very light touch. I'm going to knock down the shine of that medium CA that I just applied. Then I'm going to take my denatured alcohol and rub it again. I'm going to stop it and check it and make sure it doesn't have any sanding marks in it. And in this instance it has a few. So now I'm going to sand end to end and remove those circular sanding marks. And this is 800 grit sandpaper. It's not removing any material, it's just knocking down the tops of the sand or swirl marks created by the CA and the medium. So you get that all taken care of really nice like that. Take my denatured alcohol once again. Go back and forth. Clean up all the sanding dust, and that's nice and smooth. But just to go one more step further, a couple of drops of thin CA. We're going to come in with our magic juice and go through each level of magic juice. It only takes a little bit. That's number one. Turn your rag over and go to number two. Once again, just a little bit. This is number two. Turn up speed a little bit and work it in. You can't rub too much. There you go. Number three. And number six. Alright. Wide open. Rough it in. Find a clean spot on your paper towel. Come in with the secret weapon. Okay, that's it. That's Oliver. That's kaput. El finito. And it won't focus. Ain't that something?